Good morning, Sophia Mystery School. So excited to see you here today, talking about becoming 5D, and we're discussing embodying your sovereignty through ritual. I'm Michelle Lee, co-founder of the Sophia Mystery School, and I love being your spiritual mentor and your coach. Good morning, Wendy. So good to see you. When you tune in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Say hello, give me a wave. If you're watching this on replay, hit hashtag replay in the comments. Good morning, Brandy. So happy to have you here. If you're seeing me on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the like button so you get notifications on all of my videos. But today we are talking about the waning moon energy. We are moving from full moon to new moon, and this is the energy of decreasing, the waning. If you followed me and you saw my videos on the new moon ritual and the full moon ritual, you can see how things build cyclically in the moon phases and for us. So when we did the new moon ceremony, we seeded what we want to create into the subconscious mind. And then the full moon is the heightened, the reception, the gratitude for that which you're creating. And then in that ceremony, I invited you to do some journaling about asking your higher self, your subconscious mind, what was getting in the way of you having your goals or your dreams come true. And if you didn't do that, you can do that today. And that's what this waning moon energy is releasing those obstacles, releasing the beliefs that you may be carrying around, releasing identities, right, of who you believe you are, or any attachments that you have, anything you hold dear, right? Oftentimes what we want to create, the reason, not oftentimes, always, the reason why we don't have that which we desire is because we're not a resonant match to it. We don't resonate with it yet. And the reason we don't resonate with it is because we hold identities or beliefs that don't resonate with it, right? So say that, I want to give you a good example here. So there's a part that you want to sacrifice, right? And it's an old belief. So suppose that you have a job and you really want to start your own business, right? And you want to start your own business and you have these visions of being on your own and having the freedom and doing work that truly feeds your soul. And you have this job over here. Some people may be called to release that job because it creates a safety net. It creates a comfort zone. And so having that comfort zone actually slows us down in doing the things we want to do. So that job that you're holding on to over here, that safety, like the dependable check that comes in the mail, even though you hate going to the job, you don't like the energy in the job, and your heart is really over here in wanting to express yourself and being paid in that way. So during this waning moon phase, you may want to release fear around giving up the comfort, release the comfort, right? Like release your job entirely. You can put in that I release this job so that I can receive, so that I'm compelled, right, motivated and inspired to do what it takes to do the work that I love. Sometimes a job is a big one. Sometimes it can be an identity, right? That can be, maybe you want to release an identity of being a victim or a survivor. One of those, being a survivor is a great temporary place to be, right? So if you experience victimization, if you were assaulted or whatever in your childhood or adulthood, we come to really claim, I am a survivor of that. And then we wrap ourselves around this identity of being a survivor, which then continues to create things in our field that we have to survive. So it really keeps you in that root chakra, that survival mechanism. So you want to give up the identity of surviving so that you can move into thriving. Okay, so it can be very subtle things like that, even things that have given you the strength to get to where you are. They're not going to get you to where you're going. And so it's important to release those. Now, a way to release that in this waning moon energy is to have a ritual. And I love having a fire ceremony where you write down what you're releasing. And there's a few ways to do this. A fire ceremony is one way to do it, to write down everything that you're releasing, take it outside or in a safe place, obviously, and burn it and let the smoke go into the atmosphere. Let it go that way. Another way to do it is with water. And so if having a fire isn't the ideal for you, you can still write it down, write what you're releasing, and tear it up really small, and then douse it with water. And then as you douse it with water, blow into this part of yourself, right? So if you've identified yourself as being a survivor, you're pulling that up, like inhaling, pulling it from the root chakra up, and blowing it into the water as many times until it feels complete. You know, gather it out of your aura, this identity, because if you identify with something, it's like plastered all over your aura. And so pulling it out of your aura, pulling it out of that root chakra and blowing it into the water where your paper is, where it's doused. And then if your septic system is fine, your plumbing is fine, you can, as long as you don't have too many pages, right? You can actually flush that down the drain and be done with it. Be done with it. So you're clearing out, that is the energy that we're doing with the waning moon. But once you have cleared that out, whether you've burned it or you've doused it with water, the next thing you want to do is you've created this vacuum, right? It's kind of like planting a seed in the soil, and you want to just know what you're replacing that with. So like my example was with the giving up the survivor identity. You're thriving now. So what does it look like to thrive? I'm now thriving. So identify what it looks like to you to thrive, to move out of the shadow of that root chakra, which is survival, and moving into the light of it, which is thriving, which is being on this planet, being connected to the earth in joy and abundance and pleasure and fun, right? So identify what you're replacing that with. If you're giving up a job, if you're releasing a job, it doesn't mean you have to quit right away. But when you do a releasing ceremony and you do want to give up a job, then what you're releasing is your attachment to it, right? Like you're cutting the cords. When you're not hanging on to the job going, this is my security, this is my survival, it would be irresponsible to leave it or whatever. But if you cut the energetic cords and the attachment and the identity that you have given it as your source, when we are our source, divine is our source. If you cut those cords, then what you're replacing that with is life supports me. Life is my source. I am my source. I receive my support and my financial stability from everything around me. Like when we have a job, we look at that as our one source of income, and we keep ourselves narrowly focused on that. So when you're cutting these cords during this releasing ceremony, you're opening yourself up to receive from unexpected streams of income. So when it comes to the job, you're cutting the cords. It doesn't mean you have to quit right away. But if you're intuitively led to do that, then by all means do it, right? You're being led, and you get to have the experience of, oh, I am my source, and I'm going to source through this way. I'm going to source my income through this way. So anyway, so if you're doing that, if you're releasing a job, or you're cutting the cords with the job, then what are you replacing that with? I'm replacing that with all of life supports me. I am divinely supported. Financial support comes to me in ease and grace and joy and pleasure. I am open and receptive to that financial support. So you want to have the replacement too. You don't want to just create a vacuum within you, like I let this go. It's kind of like giving up sugar or something, right? Or giving up coffee. You want to have something that replaces it, so it doesn't feel like this big void of absence. It's much easier to move through releasing something if you're replacing it with the opposite, right? When you have a replacement. So tonight, in the next couple of days, this is the perfect time to do your releasing ceremony. And then when the new moon hits in a couple of weeks, or next week, when the new moon hits, then that's when you're really planting the seeds of what you replaced, what you released. So if it's receiving more income, then on that new moon, you're really planting the seeds. And you can go to my YouTube channel and see that new moon ceremony that I taught a couple weeks ago. But right now you're releasing. So today, be thinking about what isn't serving you, asking your higher self what's not serving me anymore, and be willing to release that either into fire or into water, and release it from your body. And it's so much more powerful when you're working with the energies. Like, you don't have to do releasing ceremonies only on a waning moon, but it is super powerful because that's the energy. That's the energy our bodies are in. The moon supports our bodies. I mean, we are one with all of this. So as above, so below, as within, so without. And so using the energies of the moon and the phases of the moon just gives your magic, your rituals, that extra oomph. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I would love to hear your comments below, any questions that you have. I'm happy to answer any questions. And this is one aspect, one of the pillars of becoming 5D is knowing your power, that you are a powerful, impactful, effective being. You are an energetic being, and you are affecting the energy all of the time anyway. You're always affecting the energy. It's best though when you're doing it intentionally and doing it in a way that supports you. All right, everyone. Bye for now.